welcome to Kristina's Corner. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I have a very special guest. We have EFDOT, Eric, who is one of the featured artists of the Project 2020 for Tops. He's also a muralist based in New York City. So thank you so much for tuning in today, Eric. I really appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your busy schedule to make time for us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
For sure. So first off, let me ask you what pretty much everyone wants to know in the card community. Do you collect cards yourself?
I did collect cards when I was a kid, and I held on to some of them. So technically, I am a collector. I haven't been buying them a ton in the last few years, but I still have some cards in a box that I keep for future. Yeah, so I'm a collector.
Okay. Baseball, basketball, football, what do you collect?
Baseball cards.
Baseball cards. Okay. So was this kind of a dream come true to work with Tops on creating a cards of your own?
Definitely. Yeah, it's a childhood dream, I'd say. And I haven't really thought about it in a while. Like I said, I haven't been super active in the card collecting world, but it's a chance for me to get back to my roots. Like before I got into a lot of the passions and hobbies that I do as an adult, this was one of my big things. So it's definitely a dream come true.
That's awesome. And when you were a kid, did you sketch out cards for yourself, like of yourself playing ball? I know a lot of people have told me that they used to do that as kids.
I don't remember doing my own cards that much. I think I drew on paper a lot, and I would just draw a lot of different kinds of things, and sports and baseball was one of those things, but I never designed a card before this project, really. I just never thought to do it, or never thought that it would be a real card. So it's cool to see Tops get the stamp of approval.
Yes. And how did you get involved with Project 2020? Like, how did you get tapped?
Get topped. I like that. So I got an email out of the blue, really, from Tops. There was a couple people at Tops. One of them I knew was following me before the project, just following my work on Instagram. And he said that he was a fan. And, you know, that's how it works usually is I try to attract the right kinds of projects to my inbox just by being myself and putting out all kinds of personal work and client work. And then eventually when the opportunity lines up, clients reach out, and that's what happened with Tops.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what is your process when you're reimagining these 20 cards of classic baseball GOATs?
Great question. So I like to think that with all my projects, they're very research based, some of them. I try to think about who's the person that's going to be viewing the card and what do they want to see out of it. And then what do I want to add to it? And how can we find the intersection of that? I do that with my murals as well, where I'm like, okay, where's this mural going to live? And then I do research around that. So my first step in the process is to learn a little bit more about the player and the team that I'm illustrating, because I don't know all these players, all their stats, all their things that they're known for. And so I'll just Google around and I'll ask some of the collectors that are in my Patreon group if they have ideas for what they'd like to see incorporated into the card. I can tell you more about the Patreon group in a minute, but yeah, and then I basically start writing down ideas and sketching on my iPad. I bring the original card itself right into the iPad, and I just start drawing with my stylus over the top of it and trying to see like what parts of the original card that I want to keep, what parts I want to maybe cover up or add or change. And then it's like this puzzle that I'm creating where I'm moving elements around. Here's like a work in progress of my Ted Williams card that came out as my last card. This wasn't the finished version, but you can see that there's like a few elements happening here. And I just really start to play around with the composition. And then I usually take a break, get some feedback from the group or from friends, or I just need to sleep on it myself and come back to it and add the final details. Usually the next day. It doesn't take me more than like 2 or 3 days to finish one. Not working all day, but you know, a few hours each day. And I put a lot of love into it. I don't want to just like, this is my opportunity to make cards that are in history, right? Like they're not going anywhere. They're printed, they're in cases. So I really want to make sure that it's my best work. And part of that is involving other people's ideas and just really trying to get that balance right of like artistic and abstract work. And then also like, what are some things that the collectors and the sports fans will really latch onto and enjoy about the card, like Easter eggs?
Yeah. And like I told you previously, I love the history and research that you put into your cards. It really shines through, and it is noticed and appreciated by many collectors. I'm in a couple group chats with collectors, and we talk about those markers that you put in, and
Cool.
we all enjoy them. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
I'm a research nerd, so I really enjoy it. So where do you pull your inspiration from for your murals and for Project 2020?
Yeah, so I mentioned that I like to, for my murals, do some research about the place that the mural is going to be in, because a lot of times if it's outdoors, there's like an existing neighborhood and culture that I can pull from. What are the things that people say in that neighborhood? What kind of people live there? What language do they speak? Because I've done murals internationally too. And that's all really important to me, because the mural is going to live on way longer than I'll be there, right? I'm going there, putting the mural up and leaving. So they got to live with it. So I get inspiration from the place and the people that live there. Also just the context overall of like the time and place. So right now we're going through this pandemic. So I'm painting a mural on Sunday, and I purposefully wanted to make it something that's very uplifting and a breath of fresh air for people. I also try to think of what's unexpected or mysterious that I can add, because obviously the most obvious solution isn't the most interesting. Like for New York, you wouldn't want to make a mural of the Statue of Liberty every time, because it's just so touristy and cliche and overdone. So how can you bring in elements of a place in unexpected ways? And then in general, my artistic philosophy is that I want to bring people together with my art. I want to spread curiosity, bring out the childhood, like the childlike playfulness of the viewers, and just make them feel happy and optimistic.
Yeah, I love that philosophy. So thank you for sharing your work and your inspiration with all of the world. As you said, you're internationally known, and I've seen your murals, and they're just beautiful. So I was really excited. Yeah, I was really excited when you said you would come on, because yeah, it's always inspiring to see your murals. So we find inspiration from them.
Thank you. Yeah, I wish I could be painting more of them right now. This one on Sunday is the first one I'm going to be doing in a few months, actually.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get to support a local business with that. And it's actually on my commute from my home to my studio. So it's really going to be cool to see that every day.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that your Muralist project, which you've launched, you talk about like finding interesting walls to paint during this time, like a home office wall, or contacting local businesses. So I think that you go beyond just inspiring people with your art, and now you're helping them, helping muralists and other artists with like how-tos, which I really enjoy. And then you're also propping up other muralists. So that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been wanting to launch this project for a long time. And now finally with the Tops project, I feel like because of the success and the popularity of it, I've been able to say no to most other client work that, well, a lot of it's been canceled. A lot of my murals, like commercial murals, have been canceled or postponed. And the Tops project has left me feeling like now I have a buffer and some time, because the cards drop every 2 weeks approximately. So I have a week to design it and market it and launch it. And then I have another week to really invest in more personal projects. And I obviously work on both at the same time. Sometimes like days will be the morning on Tops and then the afternoon on the Muralists project. But just from a pure business standpoint, like the Muralist project isn't about making money. It's just about giving back and helping other artists. And just, I love sharing other artists. And it was never enough for me to just like sit in my studio and paint and then sell the work. I feel like I'm a very extroverted person, and I love connecting other individuals that I admire. So that's what this project's all about. And then, yeah, also I didn't really have a mentor when I was starting with murals. It's one of those things that's kind of secretive. There's a lot of content out there about graphic design and painting and more traditional paths, but there wasn't really anybody like saying, I'm the Muralists guy and I'm going to teach you how to get started with it. So I just saw the opportunity, and then the Instagram handle @Muralists kind of just fell into my lap at the end of last year. I didn't have to pay for it or anything. And I just said, okay, now's the time. I got to start this. Yeah.
Nice. It's always nice when like the chess pieces fall into place and you're at a place where now you can devote time to a passion of yours. I'm really enjoying following that and watching what you come out. So I'm looking forward to that continuing.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I have no idea where it's going to go. A lot of ideas, but I want it to be influenced by the community too and see what they need and what they want. So it's very much like a unexplored territory for me.
Nice.
So is the Tops project, honestly. Like I'd never done anything. I'd never designed cards. I'd never really done any projects in the sports industry. I know some of the other artists have a lot of experience with that. And I think in a way, I'm kind of like the wild card or like an underdog with that stuff. And it's been fun seeing, first, my cards weren't as popular. And now everyone's cards are getting more popular with the project. But it's cool to see people come around and say, actually, I like that guy's style. And, you know, I've noticed it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that Project 2020 was a slow start overall. I know your most recent card was 8,900 print run, the Williams.
Approximately,
so So I think that at the beginning, people weren't really sure like what was going on, and collectors are very conservative and they don't like change, a lot of them. So I think that it was a community like pause. And then when we saw everything coming out, people then were like, no, this is really cool. Like, I like what Topps is doing here. I am a basketball collector, so I did not know, because I don't follow Topps, that this was happening until a couple of my listeners pointed it out to me.
Yeah.
And I did a feature on the House of Jordans podcast about Topps Project 2020, and it kind of spiraled from there. And as you can see, I have a few. I've only gotten 2 mail days so far from Topps. Mail's super slow, but I have many more coming, and I'm looking forward to. I have a couple of your cards coming, so cool. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Do you have a favorite card that you either have designed so far or are looking forward to designing? Maybe
I can answer both.
Okay.
So I think my favorite card I've designed is either between the Willie Mays or the Ted Williams.
Okay.
And then for the future, I'm really looking forward to Derek Jeter. I had a poster of Derek Jeter on my wall when I was a kid, and he was a rookie. I grew up in the 90s. So I grew up going to the Yankee games, even going to the World Series that were in New York during the 90s, and seeing Derek Jeter play, seeing him come up in the ranks, and it was a huge deal, right? So getting to put my spin on Jeter is going to be really cool. I even had an idea. Did you see that Yankee Stadium is going to be opening as a drive-in movie theater this summer?
I did not see that. No.
Yeah. So
I'm from Connecticut, but I'm in LA right now. So I haven't been, following. That is really cool. Like you're literally drive in.
Well, yeah, because everyone's still doing social distancing. So they want to use the stadium for something, I guess. And I just saw a headline. I think it was a credible source. Don't hold me to that. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I have to rent a car and go to Yankee Stadium, bring my iPad and design a card in the stadium while there's a movie playing there, and then like maybe live stream it or do something cool with that and tell that whole story.
That would be awesome. I hope that is true and you end up getting to do that, for sure. Okay, so going into your art and your muralist side, what was your first artistic aspiration?
You mean like my inspiration? Like
aspiration. Like you always want to be a muralist, or did you start designing like hats?
Actually, yeah. So when I was younger, I was looking up to my grandmother. She was an artist. She would make stained glass pieces in her basement. And that was really cool to see how like the element of craft and just, you can really make anything possible if you have good hand-eye coordination and craft. And she would buy me art supplies every time I saw her for a holiday, and it was just a great relationship. And then I didn't really know what being a full-time artist was. Obviously in 2020, it's way different than it was when she was a professional artist. There was no internet or social media to get your work out there. So as I guess the years went on, it became a little bit clearer of like what I could study and what I could learn and what kinds of jobs I could get doing that and how I would get paid as an artist. But I didn't really have one aspiration. I think after I went to design school in Philadelphia for my college years, I started to want to get into branding and more like typography and lettering. And I really started to niche down into that focus after finishing at school. And I called myself a lettering artist. I said, I just want to do lettering forever. And I think it really helped me to get my career started because then I became known for something. And so that was like one of my early aspirations. And then I kind of realized that lettering and branding have a lot of rules. And I was looking up to these idols of mine who had made it in that world and that were like just getting paid to do their own lettering in their own style. And I desperately wanted to do that. But I was bogged down by it was really difficult to find my own style within those rules. And then also it's like when you're doing branding, you're essentially like helping another company achieve their goals. And it's like, what about my goals as an artist? What about my aspirations? And I would love to do things like painting an entire skate park, right? Like, how do I get into the work that I want to do? And so as it went on, I started doing more personal projects outside of the graphic design, the branding, and the lettering. And now I just call myself an artist and a muralist. And that's like the short story of it. Yeah.
Okay. Have you painted an entire skate park yet?
Not yet. That's on the list for future aspirations for sure.
All right, nice. Is that your dream project?
I'd say so. Yeah. Getting to design it too, from not just to skin it and paint it, but my brother is an engineer and he can design like structural stuff. So I'd love to collaborate with him on a full like multi-use space that's also a skate park.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a great goat project. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and it'll be on the rooftop of a skyscraper. And no, I'm just kidding.
And then it'll be on like glass, so you could like see down at one point. Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, go all out.
Yeah, for sure. And will you just tell us quickly about your the new Muralist project in your own words?
Yeah, sure. So the Muralist community is a new platform that I started to help educate, inspire, and promote other artists who are either interested in getting into murals or they're professional muralists themselves. And with that project, I'm going to be posting content on Instagram, mostly mural tips and artist features and interviews. And then next month, I'm starting a podcast for this project. It's called Extra Paint. So it's the Muralists Extra Paint podcast. And that's going to be I'm going to let that evolve and see where it goes. But I'm starting off with interviewing muralists, also doing some solo episodes, probably about half an hour to 45 minutes each. And that's the beginning of this community. But really the future is I'd love to have events in person where it's like Muralists New York, Muralists LA, and like you get to meet up and actually paint together and hear from muralists. And who knows, like the sky's the limit with this project, but we're just getting started now. And so, yeah, if you want to follow along with that, it's just Muralists on Instagram. And then the website, if you want to get more updates on that, it's muralists.co. And I'll be sending out emails to people who sign up there.
Nice. And do you have plans to like live stream what you're painting in the future, or even this week when you're painting the store, the business in your commute?
Yeah, we're going to be capturing a lot of stuff for that. I'm not sure if we will live stream it just based on like internet issues. It's outdoors. We'll see. We're going to try to do some of that, but we can't do the whole thing. It's a long process. Actually, painting a mural it looks a lot cooler in a time lapse than it does in real time.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna be making all kinds of content. If you just follow along, you'll see it. I do have a live stream later today, but I'm guessing that this is not going to come out in time for people to see that. So yeah. I do want to talk a little bit about the Patreon group because I'm also doing live streams there for the baseball cards. So basically, I was seeing how this project was picking up, and there was these little communities forming on Facebook and on the Blowout forums and other places. And I saw that there was a lot of noise there. You know, everyone wants to share their opinion about every single card, which is so awesome that people are so passionate. but I wanted a way to kind of bring together the people that were interested in my series specifically, and then also have them, like, give them a way to support me beyond just buying the cards. And because I'm creating all this other content around it, right? So in order to like get compensated for that, but also like bring together the people who love my series, I started this group on Patreon. I had never used Patreon before. It's a new platform for me, but it's essentially a membership website where you can set up your own tiers and offer different perks for different tiers. So if someone's paying $5 a month, $5 per card, I have it right now. So it's really $10 a month. That's the only option I have open right now, but I might be opening some higher tiers soon. Then if you sign up on, it's just patreon.com/EFDOT, EFDOT. So I'm giving people access to see the cards before they drop and also see like the works in progress. I'm doing the weekly live streams on Monday night, 9:30 p.m. And what else? For the autograph series, I'm giving the Patreon members first access to get those before the rest of the world. And so I just set up a little password on my website. And then every time I launch a new autograph series, I give the Patreon people the password. They have a few hours to go in there and get which cards they want. They're still racing against each other. And now there's like over 100 people in there. So it's a bit of competition, but it's much easier to get the autograph card that you want before it goes live to the public if you're in the Patreon group. So that's the whole rundown of that. I'm going to see where it goes and probably keep it going throughout the whole series because it's been pretty successful so far.
Yeah, congratulations. That sounds amazing. So everyone definitely go check out EFDOT's Patreon, check out @Muralists on Instagram. And we all look forward to seeing what card, unless you have a spoiler, what card you're working on next.
I can give you a spoiler that It is Mr. Padre.
Very nice. All right.
Yeah. Can't show you, but yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Understandable. We look forward to seeing your next card, and I wish you all the success in all of your future endeavors because it's been an amazing ride thus far, and I can't wait to see what you come out with next.
All right. Thanks so much for having me, Kristina.
Yeah, of course. Right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This has been another episode of Kristina's Corner on the House of Jordan's YouTube channel.